The rain battered the windows of my dorm, a relentless drumbeat that mirrored the ache in my neck. I've been hunched over my laptop for hours, drowning in code for a computer science project due at midnight, when a sharp twinge shot through my shoulder, making me wince. That's when he walked in, Elliot Kane, the golden boy of Westbridge University, all charm and effortless swagger, offering a massage that turned my world upside down. I wasn't supposed to be here, not in his orbit. Elliot was the kind of guy who owned every room he entered, captain of the soccer team, top of the journalism program, and the subject of half the campus's daydreams. His blonde hair caught the light like a halo, and those blue eyes could make anyone feel like they were the only person in the world. Me, I was Matthew Harper, the quiet computer science major who preferred algorithms to attention. My hazel eyes usually hidden behind glasses, and my dark hair a perpetual mess from late-night coding sessions. That night, though, fate, or maybe just bad posture, threw us together. I was sprawled on the common room couch, rubbing my aching neck, when Elliot strode in, shaking rain off his jacket. "Rough night?" "Huh," he said, his voice low and teasing, like he already knew the answer. I froze, unsure why he was talking to me. We'd shared a few classes, exchanged polite nods, but that was it. Now, he was looking at me like he saw me, and my pulse kicked into overdrive. Yeah, I mumbled, wincing as I shifted. "Next killing me," he grinned, dropping his bag and sliding onto the couch beside me, closer than necessary. "I'm pretty good with my hands," he said, his tone playful but with an edge that made my stomach flip. "Want me to fix it?" I laughed, thinking he was joking, but his raised eyebrow said otherwise. Before I could overthink it, I nodded, and his fingers were on my shoulders, warm and sure, kneading the tension away. The world narrowed to the heat of his touch, the faint scent of his cologne, cedar and something crisp, like the rain outside. My breath hitched, and I prayed he didn't notice. "You're tight as hell, Matt," he murmured, his voice closer now, his breath brushing my ear. I shivered, and not from the cold. Nobody called me Matt. Nobody made me feel like this, either like I was teetering on the edge of something dangerous and exhilarating. By the time he finished, my neck felt better, but my heart was a mess. He leaned back, his eyes locking onto mine, and said, "You owe me one. How about coffee tomorrow?" It wasn't a question. I nodded, dazed, and he flashed that devastating smile before leaving me alone with the rain and a racing pulse. What the hell just happened? The next day, I met him at Brew Haven, the campus cafe buzzing with students. Elliot was already there, leaning against the counter in a white t-shirt that hugged his frame, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine. We talked about classes, music, the way he hated the cafeteria's attempt at tacos, and it felt easy. Too easy. Like we'd been doing this forever. But every time his hand brushed mine, or his laugh lit up his face, I felt that same electric pull from the night before. I wasn't out. Not really. I'd known I was gay since high school, but I kept it locked away, buried under late-night study sessions and a carefully neutral demeanor. Westbridge was liberal enough, but I grew up in a small town where different wasn't celebrated. Elliot, though, he was out and proud, unapologetic in a way that both terrified and thrilled me. When he casually mentioned his ex-boyfriend, my heart sank, not from jealousy, but from a sudden, Sharp realization that he might actually like me. And that scared me more than anything. Over the next week, Elliot became a constant. He'd show up at my dorm with takeout, drag me to soccer games, or text me memes at 2 a.m. that made me laugh too loud in the quiet of my room. He was magnetic, pulling me out of my shell, and I let myself get swept up in it. But the closer we got, the louder the voice in my head screamed, "You're not ready for this." One night, he invited me to his dorm to watch a movie. His room was a mix of chaos and charm, string lights draped over the bed, posters of indie bands on the walls, and a stack of journalism textbooks teetering on his desk. We settled on his bed, a bowl of popcorn between us, but I barely registered the movie. His arm brushed mine, and when he turned to say something, our faces were inches apart. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might crack my ribs. "Matt," he said softly, his eyes searching mine. "You okay?" I wasn't. I was drowning in the way he looked at me, in the possibility of what this could be. Before I could stop myself, I leaned in, and so did he. Our lips met, tentative at first, then hungry, like we'd both been holding back for too long. His hands found my waist, pulling me closer, and the world melted away until it was just us, tangled in each other in the glow of those damn string lights. When we finally pulled apart, breathless, he grinned. "Told you I'm good at fixing tension." I laughed, but the weight of it hit me. This wasn't just a kiss. This was me stepping into a world I'd kept at arm's length, and I wasn't sure I could handle it. Elliot sensed my hesitation and cupped my face, his thumb brushing my cheek. "We don't have to rush," he said. "But I'm not going anywhere." That night, I lay awake in my own bed, replaying the kiss, the warmth of his hands, the promise in his words. But doubt crept in like a shadow. What if I couldn't be as open as he was? What if this was too much? Too fast? And worse, what if I let myself fall? And he realized I wasn't enough? The weeks that followed were a blur of stolen moments and late-night talks. Elliot was relentless in his affection, leaving notes in my backpack or pulling me into empty classrooms for quick kisses that left me dizzy. But the more I fell for him, the more my fears clawed at me. I hadn't told anyone about us, not my roommate, not my friends. I wasn't ready to be that guy, the one who walked across campus holding hands, who faced whispers or worse. Elliot, though, wore his heart on his sleeve. At a party one night, he grabbed my hand in front of everyone, pulling me onto the dance floor. The music pulsed, and his smile was infectious. But I froze, hyper-aware of the eyes on us. I pulled away, muttering an excuse about needing air, and fled outside. He followed, his face a mix of hurt and confusion. "Matt, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice tight. "Are you ashamed of this? Of me?" "No," I said too quickly, my chest aching. "It's not you. It's just I'm not out. Not like you. I don't know how to do this." He stepped closer, his expression softening. "You don't have to have it all figured out. But you can't keep running from it either." I wanted to tell him I'd try, that I'd be braver, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I nodded, and he pulled me into a hug, his warmth grounding me. But the doubt lingered, a crack in the foundation of whatever we were building. The next day, I overheard a group of guys from the soccer team talking in the cafeteria. "Elliot's had a new guy," one said, smirking. "Some nerdy kid." But he's just a phase. The words cut deeper than I expected, feeding every insecurity I tried to bury. Was I just a fling to him? A project? I didn't confront Elliot, but I started pulling back, answering his texts less, dodging his invites. He noticed. Of course, he always did. By midterms, the distance between us was palpable. Elliot cornered me in the library one evening, his usual confidence replaced by frustration. "What's going on?" "Matt, you're shutting me out." I stared at my laptop, avoiding his eyes. "I just need space." "Okay, this is a lot. A lot." His voice cracked. "I thought we were in this together. But you're acting like I'm some dirty secret. That's not fair." I snapped. But he wasn't wrong. I was terrified of being seen, of being judged, of losing him and proving those guys right. I'm not ready for everyone to know. He ran a hand through his hair, his jaw tight. "I'm not asking you to march in a parade. Matt, I just want you to be real with me. With yourself." The silence that followed was suffocating. I wanted to reach for him, to tell him I was trying, but fear held me back. He shook his head and walked away, leaving me with a sinking feeling that I'd just broken something I couldn't fix. For days, we barely spoke. I threw myself into my coding projects, but every line of code felt hollow without his laughter in the background. My roommate, Jake, noticed my mood and finally asked, "Dude, what's up? You look like someone kicked your puppy." I hesitated, then spilled everything: the massage, the kiss, the way Elliot made me feel alive and terrified all at once. Jake listened, then shrugged. "Sounds like you're overthinking it. If he makes you happy, why are you fighting it?" It was so simple, but it hit me like a freight train. I was fighting myself, not Elliot. I grabbed my phone and texted him, "Can we talk?" Elliot met me at the park near campus, the late autumn leaves crunching under our feet. He looked tired, his usual spark dimmed, and guilt twisted in my gut. "I'm sorry," I started, my voice shaky. "I've been an idiot. I'm just scared." He studied me, his blue eyes softer now. "I get it, Matt. I was scared too, when I came out. But hiding who you are, it eats you alive." I took a deep breath, the words I'd held back for so long spilling out. "I like you, more than I've ever liked anyone. But I grew up in a place where guys like me didn't get to be happy. I'm trying to figure out how to be that guy. But I need time." He stepped closer, his hand brushing mine. "I can give you time. But I need you to meet me halfway." I nodded, and when he kissed me, it felt like a promise to him, to myself. That night, I told Jake I was gay. It was the first time I'd said it out loud, and the weight that lifted was indescribable. Jake just grinned and said, "Cool. Want to order pizza?" The next few weeks were a learning curve. I wasn't ready to shout my truth from the rooftops, but I stopped hiding. I held Elliot's hand at the cafe, ignoring the curious glances. I introduced him to my friends as my boyfriend, the word feeling foreign but right. And when those soccer guys smirked, I stared them down, my heart pounding but steady. Elliot and I grew stronger, our connection deeper than I'd ever imagined. One night, in his dorm, he pulled me onto his bed, his hands finding my shoulders again. Still tense, he teased, his fingers working their magic. I laughed, pulling him closer. "You're going to have to fix that differently this time." He grinned, and as we kissed, I realized something profound Love wasn't just about the butterflies or the heat of a moment. It was about choosing to show up, to be seen, to fight for who you are and who you want to be with. I'd spent so long running for myself. But with Elliot, I'd found a home, one I was finally brave enough to claim. And as the rain fell outside, softer now, I knew this was just the beginning. For us, for me, for the life I was ready to build.